One of the things that today's kids, I've got to say this, don't do is they reject the past. And in advertising, if you do that, that's to your detriment there because you're not going to learn about AI. AI is relevant to anything. What is a headline? What is a visual? What is the layout? What is a TV commercial? What is an outdoor? What are the rules of outdoor? What are the rules of DM? You've got to know these. If you put the audience as top priority, whether it's a consumer who's buying your product, or whether it's an audience watching your play, whether it's a person either in a cinema house or an OTT audience, you have to interest them. And you have to interest them with work that is relevant to them, that is inspiring for them. But more importantly, you know that you're on the wrong path. Doesn't take them into account.
Hello and welcome to an exclusive interview on ET Edge Insights. Today we have a very special guest with us, Rahul daCunha. Rahul, it's a pleasure to host you on ET Edge Insights.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this with us. Let me begin by asking you, you have worn many hats, theater, films, obviously, advertising. So working in different spheres, has that helped you in the creativity of your work?
I've always believed that if you put the audience as top priority,
Right.
whether it's a consumer who's buying your product, or whether it's an audience watching your play, whether it's a person either in a cinema house or an OTT audience, you have to interest them.
Right.
You have to interest them with work that is relevant to them, that is inspiring for them. But more importantly, you know that you're on the wrong path when you haven't made your product not worthy of them, but doesn't take them into account. So I'm always sparked for what I loosely call the 30-second format. Whether I'm writing a column, which I do every week, I believe that you got to keep at it. If you're not creating every day,
Right.
whatever it is, that function goes for a toss. It's like creativity is a gymnasium. Yeah, you got to work it. Yeah, you got to work out. We talk about working out the muscles, but the creative muscles are also.
Yeah, true. Rahul, if we go back the 90s, you worked with Lintas, reputed advertising houses. When you look back at advertising during those days and fast forward to 2025, age of digital disruption, AI, what is the kind of transformation you've seen?
It's unrecognizable. I don't know what advertising is anymore. You got to look at it and say, it's like music. My every reference I think of is music, which is that if you take the 90s, even though I'm a 70s and early 80s guy,
Right.
90s for me was the watershed of music. I don't know if I think you like music as well, right?
Yes.
So just grunge to new age to metal,
Yes.
and what it is now, Taylor Swift. And I know that I can be immature and say that's not music. I can turn and say EDM is not music. But it is music, and I have to accept that it's not my music. There was a time in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s where you had albums that were two sides.
Right.
Today, it's one song that hits. We used to call them one-hit wonders,
Right.
in the 70s.
Yes.
Today, we're back to one-hit wonders. A guy can make just one music video and he's sorted. It's a hard one because what do I train my trainees? I don't have anything to give if we've changed so radically.
Right.
I have 90s advertising to teach them. I have 80s advertising to teach them those values. How do you build? I don't know how to build a brand digitally, but too early in the process. And the digital marketplace is one for young people. I still believe that. What about the older audiences? Yeah, they're still used to the daily press. They're still used to television.
Right.
And I don't get the same information digitally. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not getting it.
But you acknowledge it.
Have to.
Right. So now let's come back to your timeless classic, Hamara Bajaj, Buland Bharat ki Buland Tasveer. So tell us a bit about it. I mean,
it's actually, we've come full circle where what is your benefit? What is the brand benefit that is outside of the factory? Bajaj was facing a problem in the early 80s, which is that it was seen as old-fashioned. The competition was modern scooters. And so the creative team at Lintas said, can we think of something that's outside of spark plugs and suspensions and all that? And we said we're the heartbeat of India. There's a scooter in every home, in every part of the country. And in a way, we humbled ourselves
Right.
to say that we are the heartbeat of India, which is Hamara Bajaj. It's the ride of India. It's the one two-wheeler and that experience that ties us as a country.
Right.
And it blew my mind because we wrote, I mean, I didn't write the song. The great Jaikrit Rawat wrote that song. Louis Banks did the music.
Okay.
But Buland and this Hamara Bajaj line came out of the song actually.
Okay.
We had said it's the spirit of India. It became, and so today when you think about it, 30 years later, Bajaj is still known by that emotion.
Right. Rahul, let's come back to the Amul story as well. This is a creativity that has literally, I mean, no explanation. I mean, it's something that comes out every moment. I mean, if there's some achievement, there's success, I guess. So, how does your team or, you weave this around? Because this is very challenging. If,
It is.
there is a news that is to come out in the form of, that Amul representation, you bring it out brilliantly. So, what is the secret behind it?
I think consistency, because I realized one thing: anything you do that has any chance of success,
Right.
it's got to be year in and year out. And in advertising is also particularly difficult because too many cooks spoil the broth.
Right.
You have I don't want to blame marketing people, but one marketing person okay something and the next guy wants to put his legacy on it. I think we've been blessed in that the client, all the way from Dr. Kurian back in the 60s to Mr. Jain Mehta today, they know that consistency is everything. They know that that girl represents much more than just a brand. And one thing I learned from my dad is that when he handed over the legacy to me in the early 90s, every time you come out with something, it has to be top notch.
Right.
Just because the last one was fantastic does not mean this one will be. The choice of subject, the illustration, and there's no doubt that the technology has helped over here, because earlier we used to be hand drawn.
Right.
Now at least Jayant Rani, the cartoonist, can do all kinds of complicated, and it goes directly onto hoarding. Right. But the messaging has to be bang on. Yeah. Right. Social media is both a boon as well as a difficult one. Yeah. Right. But it got its consistency. Yeah.
Right. Right.
It comes back to creative, which is that creative has to be top notch. Yeah.
Right. And is there some element of expectations, obviously?
Yeah.
Throughout ages, you've done this.
And the expectation now has gone up tremendously because of social media.
Right.
Earlier, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when you only had the hoarding, you never got feedback on a moment-to-moment basis.
Right.
Today, the moment is finished, it's up on social media. And everybody's got a point of view.
Right.
Everyone's a punster. Everybody's an artist. Everybody's a communicator.
Right.
So the challenge to be on top of that game is a very exciting one. Yeah.
So Rahul, if we talk about the future, obviously, technology, AI, as an actor, advertising guru, what is the kind of legacy you want to leave behind?
Brilliant question. Yeah, I think we have to encourage storytelling. Yeah,
Right.
Keep passion going. Our films should be heartwarming. I'm not saying they should have a message, but today films come, films go. But why do the great films? Why is The Godfather remembered forever? Why is Sholay, which just did 50 years? Why is it? You go back to Sholay, go back to Godfather. They're every bit as relevant and beautifully made as they were 50 years ago.
Right.
And that's something in the essence of the screenplay, in the essence of the ad, in the essence of the song. Why do we call it classic rock? Yeah.
Right.
Why do the Beatles still, all these years later, why are Mohammed Rafi's voice, why R.D. Burman's composition? There's something, you have to aim for timelessness. Yeah.
Right.
But if you don't, you're not going to, you won't be relevant today. Yeah.
Right. Rahul, one last question. Your advice to young professional who wants to get into advertising?
Don't. Is come in there with your ears and eyes open. Read a lot. One of the things that today's kids, I've got to say this, don't do, is they reject the past. And in advertising, if you do that, that's to your detriment there, because we're not going to learn about AI. AI is relevant to anything. What is a headline? Right. What is a visual? What is the layout? What is a TV commercial? What is an outdoor? What are the rules of outdoor? What are the rules of DA? You got to know these. One great guy, I remember, I think either Ogilvy or Bunbuck said, you got to know the rules before you break them. And if you don't do that, then there's no point coming into the business. Yeah.
Fantastic, Rahul. On that note, wonderful insights.
Great.
Thank you for doing this with us.